Hi everyone, this is Wayne Hall back again to talk about indie comics you can get at your local shop. And this week I thought I'd talk about a book I've been putting off because I'm waiting for the final volume to come out, and that's Amulet. And let me show you the first book, which is this one here. And the writer is Kazu Kibushi. I'm sure I'm fracturing that terribly, but there are 8 volumes of this book out. I've been waiting for number 9. Number 9 was supposed to come out in April. Didn't come out. Now they're saying December 27th of this year for the final one. Now I've been waiting 4 years since the last one, which is this one. This is called Supernova. And very good book. Really, really good. I was turned on to this series from a comic book shop. Every once in a while I go into a shop and I've got a little extra money to blow. And the person who worked there I really trusted, and he recommended I get into this book. It's got a lot of the things that I like in a story. Number 1, it's got a strong female lead named Emily. Emily is the daughter of a woman. Well, let me read the description on the back of the first book, and I think that'll get us up to speed as far as what's going on. After a family tragedy, Emily, Navin, and I could be mispronouncing that, could be Navin, and their mother moved to an ancestral home to start a new life. On the family's very first night in the mysterious house, Em and Navin's mom is kidnapped by a tentacled creature. Now it's up to Em and Navin to try to figure out how to set things right and save their mother's life. That's the beginning. A lot of things happen after that. And like I said, there's 8 volumes out so far. This one is number 8. And you can buy a box set of all these books. And it's a little pricey. When I see it on Amazon, it's about $100. It depends on the store. If you can't get your local shop to get it for you, I would go to Amazon and get it. I got it through a local shop. A guy recommended it to me. But not every shop can do that. This is another part of those young adult novels that I like so much. They really are doing very well, and I keep hoping that that's going to mean good news for the future of comic books. Well, let me show you the inside. The inside, the art's pretty good. I like it real well. The only thing I don't like is the mom's head is really tall. You can see her there. She looks kind of odd there. The son looks alright, but that's a huge tall head. I guess that's to show knowledge or experience. Well, there's the creature right there. Very nice book. It's in the size of Dogman, which is a popular size these days. And of course, what happens is, as it's called Amulet, there's an amulet at the core of the story. Emily ends up with the amulet, and it begins to speak to her. And that should have been her first warning. As you can see there, she's with the amulet, and it's talking to her. And of course, as Spider-Man once famously said, with great power comes great responsibility, and this book changes that subject a little bit. With great power comes great darkness on occasion. And Emily is maturing during this whole book. This is another one of those coming-of-age stories. There are elves in it, as you can see here. That's an elf. And there are all kinds of mystical creatures. I like this house. This house turns into a walking house, like a warrior house. That kind of helps them along the way, which you probably saw in the initial picture. And the brother turns out to be quite the pilot over time. But I don't want to spoil too much because it's a fascinating tale with different kinds of characters. Lots of anime-style characters. If you look on the front cover, this is Misket. He is the apprentice of a man who comes from our planet and goes to the alternate universe. And he turns into a big scientist, and he is the apprentice. He ends up going along with them. There are several other different creatures, all very anime style, it seems to me, but done very well. I have to say, anime sometimes doesn't grab me, but this book really does. And there are several. I talked about the that's the end of the first book. You get to see the house is walking. So you can't take anything for granted in these books, which I really like. There's also a robot friend who goes along with them, and all kinds of crazy and wonderful stuff going on. So they have to find their way through this alternate universe. And as I said, there's the ninth book is going to be the last one, and that is going to supposedly come out December 27th of this year, which I'm already looking forward to. Like I said, 4 years has been quite the wait. I guess it tells you something about what I think of the book if I actually wait for it and I'm looking for it 4 years later. One of the great things about comic fans is that we tend to move on. If something doesn't show up right away, we look and turn around, look around. What else is there that we can read if we can't read this one? But this book has caught my attention really well. I got a female lead, which I like. Um, the different kinds of characters, surprises along the way, which I like. Um, Supernova, which is the latest one, you can tell bad things are starting to happen to Emily. The power of the amulet is starting to really show itself, and she's not necessarily the nicest character anymore. And there's different kinds of people trying to manipulate her into using her power for their ends. The elves have a country, and several others do. They run into. Here's where she's more talking with the amulet, which is never good. And it's a fascinating story in the sense that, again, there are adults involved, and they're not always the most adults. The kids are always kind of interesting. Again, this is aimed for 8 to 12-year-olds, so it's very, very, very interesting. And this is the end of book 8. Little spoiler there. Should be concluded in book 9. So we just need that last book. And I was reading where the creator was saying that he was really working hard to make sure that the ninth book was worthy of a good conclusion to the 9-book series. And I actually saw the creator one time when I was out in San Diego. There was, as I walked through the floor, I kept looking around and seeing books that I had read that I had never imagined I'd see there. And I saw a great big poster for like this there, and I ran up and I said, "Oh my gosh, I love this book." And I'm not the original age group either. It's really well done. And so I really wanted to tell them how much I enjoyed it. I think only like 5 or 6 had come out by then. But I was hooked. I was great, and I was glad to tell them that. One of the things I enjoy about conventions is if I see a creator, I get to tell them how much I enjoy their work. And believe me, they need to hear it. If you're a creator, you are working in solitude most of your life. And then you get out, and I think it's really important to let creators know you enjoy their works. Because when they go back into silence and they don't hear anything for a long time and they think people have forgotten, like David Peterson told me he would do a podcast interview every once in a while, just because he was afraid people thought he had passed. So I have to highly recommend this book. You can get the box set, as I've said. It's a fascinating story. It deals with the younger children and also a female lead, which I like. The magical stuff is pretty well done, I have to say. I don't want magic that it's just out of the blue comes and resolves problems. That's not the case. Sometimes the magic actually causes a lot of problems in this book. So I highly recommend it. If you want to go individually, you can buy the individual issues and take them to and read them along the way. The first one is called The Stone Keeper. It has something to do with the story, and other ones. It's a really good book, particularly if you're trying to get younger children, maybe ages 8 to 12, to read comics. Again, it's very nicely illustrated. I really like it. So I highly recommend it. It's Amulet, and the first 8 books are out. Number 9 is coming according to what it says, December the 27th. So until next time, keep reading your comics.